Hello YouTube, my name is Plazukas, and let me be clear. Today I'm going to be talking about two content creators that are bad. They have very few redeeming qualities about them. However, both have had wins recently. Tectone had a win by criticizing Dr. Disrespect, and Mtashed had a win by trying to stand up for someone that was getting lambasted by Tectone in the past. However, these two content creators have had history in the gotcha space for a very long time. It used to be that Mtashed and Tectone were kind of friends for a long time. They actually both came out after Genshin Impact for the monetization, for the pay-to-win aspects, for the fact that they were both whales, and then decided to have this free-to-play mantra for a while because whenever there's pushback from the community, these gotcha creators cannot stand on their 2 feet. They have to, unfortunately, capitulate to their audience and act like they have remorse and sympathy and emotional range, which a lot of them don't. So without further ado, I'm going to react to one of the most requested videos on my channel. Tectone's Mtashed the Hero came back and Tectone the Villain crashes out.
Guys, my infinite content farm is back. The man who is perpetually miserable but will swear up and down that he's not. Mtashed is back, and oh man, bro takes a
Do I think that Mtashed wants to be more successful in 2025? Yes. Absolutely. I think he would play gotcha if he was able to get a certain audience and it wasn't full of controversy and he didn't crash out, because he went from 1,500 viewers to 800 viewers to 400 viewers to 200 viewers, and he just had to leave the scene, unfortunately, because Tectone siphoned out basically what was left of his audience, whether that was view botting, whether that was a carryover from Tectone's channel, because this is what Tectone does. He cultivates these audiences. If you're in the circle, you better stay committed to that relationship at every level. You cannot criticize Tectone, otherwise he will burn you. The good news is, for someone like me, I've never allowed and will never capitulate to anyone like Tectone. So my growth is organic, it is grassroots, and it will continue to be. And I'm very thankful of that.
shot at me in the first 30 seconds of his first video back. I heard this dude went back to Path of Exile 2 or started playing PoE 2, and I got linked like an hour-and-a-half VOD of this dude just ranting about my ass. And dude, I don't even know what the fuck I did to Mtashed just to get him so obsessed with me, but it's pretty insane.
I think Mtashed made it very clear when he did crash out on you, Tectone, during the Hex Shoes drama. He didn't like you for a very long time. He stayed friends with you. He stayed cordial with you because he didn't really want to start drama in this space. And he knew that you were this big bad currently. And all the people in Gotcha should have an issue with Tectone. Some are more vocal about it than others.
Well, maybe I do know. But anyways, let's watch this video. Apparently, he had to go defend Gotcha Smag, but yeah, I have a lot of things that I want to say about this. And oh man, I literally smiled balls and back, like full face grin when I saw that Mtashed is back and he immediately starts shit talking me.
I think this is from desperation. And I know that when I started my content back up, this was predating that, and this is potentially when Tectone decided to take time off, and then he had this whole thing that he needed to get some help, and that his stuff was irregular, and blah, 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 blah. All the normal routine that Tectone does whenever he has a bad take or when he goes too far. He will feign illness, feign victim, feign homelessness, feign bankruptcy, feign whatever the case may be. He'll feign anything, essentially.
Like, legit, it makes me so happy. Let's gonna do it.
So,
yeah, what I was trying to say until I went on a tangent about Tectone's health is that he wants to cover content creators. He wants to criticize them. He just has not been able to regularly because he knows how much drama it creates and how many videos people can have when you actually attack somebody personally and it not be about gotcha or about, rotations or methods and stuff like that. That's a different video.
I haven't made a video about gotcha gaming for quite a while, and
True, ultimately you really can't. You're not allowed in this space because Tectone decided that you're not allowed.
I took a little peek at some of the things going on in the community, and it was kind of wild. I saw all the voice.
I also find it crazy that Mtashed, who's this white knight, this white knight of the gotcha space, thinks of all people that he needs to go defend gotcha Smack. Poor old hopeless Smack. Bro, y'all remember when he wanted to go defend Hex Juice for an issue that me and her didn't have for longer than 30 minutes? We resolved it ourselves, and Mtash said, yeah, I don't think that's good enough.
Actually, let the record show that the Hex Juice drama is continuous. Hex Juice has never recovered from that drama. I believe most likely Tectone slowly ended that relationship as far as the friendship between the two. He'll say differently because he wants to save face with any woman that he can because of how many bad takes he has against women and his misogynist takes. But yeah, that is not a 30-minute thing. That was, what now, a 6-month thing?
And him doing that made Hex Juice quit being a content creator. Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember?
No. Let's be very clear. That was a combination of your actions, combination of my actions, combination of Mtashed actions that led Hex Juice to say, well, if I can't dunk on smaller content creators because I'm going to get called out because Techie over here is going to also criticize me for my takes on Gotcha as well because he will not let anybody else control this space to the extent that they get past what 2500 CCV currently. I don't even know what the threshold is. I would say it's probably around 2000 CCV. If you're at 2000 CCV, Tectone will be threatened by you. Okay, but he'll let you coexist to some degree. But if he feels like you're gonna go past that threshold, like Mr. Pokey, he'll cut you off. Atsu, he'll cut you off. That has been the record. Now with Hexu specifically pertaining to, I believe she had a bad take on Wither and Waves or Honkai Star Rail, and she admitted to basically that to some extent. But at the same time, he used her emotional state as a woman. He criticized a lot of other things that were very personal to her specifically while making those kind of takes. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound, something that you've seen recently with Tectone? He can't just criticize people on the merits, on professionality, on his career as a gotcha player, which he does have information and knowledge about. No, he wants to attack them personally. He wants to take them down so many notches and yet criticizes people when they do the same to try to knock him down. Fair is fair, and I agree. You know what? You should have a better moral high ground than trying to make it personal. But in reality, if you're dealing with a bully, sometimes if the system, if justice, and all these things do not have to work back, you have to bully back. You have to stand your ground in some cases. It's not healthy. It can be very dangerous, but it may be the only resort for you to actually get some resolution or to try to survive.
Remember when Mtaz ruined a helpless female's content creation channel? I remember. Bro. She had to make a whole ass 40-minute video describing the trauma that she had with this dude. That's what's crazy. Bro just sticks his nose in business he does not belong.
No. That's not how it went down at all. You obviously slid into her DMs. You consulted, make a video on Mtashed. Well, also you're going to make a video on Mtashed, and then basically that's going to trap Mtashed into this bubble and create a vacuum that's going to slowly siphon him out, which eventually it did.
So much so that she had to retire. That's what's fucking crazy, bro. And bro still thinks he's the purveyor of justice. It's like, bro, mind your own fucking business, bro. Have you tried that?
He is scared of someone like Mtashed because Mtashed has something that all these other creators don't. He has seniority in this space. He has been here just as long as Tectone. He has been just as, if not more successful than Tectone. And he could potentially be the one that could single-handedly beat Tectone. Although, in my personal opinion, that doesn't seem very likely currently with the trends of cultural norms and our political discourse. But I've been wrong before, so hopefully I'm wrong again, and that someone like Mtash could come back continuously and intimidate Tectone because he deserves to have other people in this space that he is intimidated by.
Acting stuff. I saw that there's global passives being added to HSR, and some people are even potentially quitting the game, like Gotcha Smack. Even some content creators' friendships imploded. Who could have saw that coming?
He's such a petty bitch, bro. He's so mad. Here's the reality, Mtash, and I'm going to lay you on some knowledge that you and the whole gotcha community need to hear. People always say this. Tectone's lost 2 friendships. Me and Mr. Pokey are good now, by the way. We hash it out in DMs. So much so that I want to show this screenshot. I heard everybody's leaking DMs with Mr. Pokey today, so I'll do it too. I want to show you guys this. Mtash wanted to call me and Mr. Pokey's friendship a fake friendship. So I sent him a DM this morning. I said, I will defend you from Mtash. He said, love you, Dad. Mtash so upset I threw his ass to the curb. Let me ask you a question, guys. For all the gotcha community. Some people were saying, oh, Tectone's lost 2 friends now. I'm starting to see a pattern here. Okay? I want to remind you guys, who has friends? Who has more friends to lose? The guy that tries to make sure that he's friends and gives everybody a chance in this space. A guy who does collaborations with every single creator, regardless of size, no matter what. If you want to do something, I will do that with you. Or the guy.
Maybe. But you will also siphon their soul from them. And it's a contract, not dissimilar to mafia-style tactics. You may not take their money, but there is a price to pay.
Guy who has no fucking friends. Mtash, you want to know why you haven't lost friends? Because your ass don't got any.
I think it's a fair criticism of Mtash. I do think that Mtash is not a nice guy in the content creation space. I believe Mtash has been extremely selfish. But I would rather someone be selfish and greedy, okay, than narcissistic and destructive in the gotcha space. Because if we just go with gotcha content specifically, yes, it is manipulative. It is pervasive. It is predatory. It's all those things. Both in Tectone's, reality and in Mtash reality. That's personality aside. Personality applied, Mtash being a loner, being someone that's selfish, maybe a little bit stingy, having this rude, mentality and not being inclusive, that is obviously not a good trait to have. But it also is something that doesn't affect a lot of other people in that regard. It doesn't. Whereas Tectone, if you take his actual personality and you apply it as well, he has this narcissistic, psychopathic tendency to where if you become his friend, if you're part of the Gotcha Cast, or if he has you on your stream, or if he picks up one of your videos, he basically expects everything from you going forward. You'll never be able to say anything about him or if he's covering a game that he's currently being sponsored by. He will essentially jump down your throat. Atsu, he had issues with because of Hoyoverse and all the contracts, and then him being blacklisted. He's had issues with Mtashed. He's had issues with Gotcha Smack. He's had issues with Mr. Pokey. He's had issues with Saint Tontos. He's had issues with basically everybody. Oi.io. And some of them more severe than others, but all of his so-called friends drop off within a couple months. Some last a little longer than others, depending on how successful they are, depending on how long he can use them for whatever benefit. Mr. Pokey was covering Withering Waves for a very long time, predominantly. And then he switched over to Honkai Star Rail, and then he even played Genshin Impact, and now he's playing Epic 7. And so, therefore, the value is not there, right? And it's all about the bottom line with both Mtash and Tectone, but the two do their content very differently, although their content specifically in Gacha is the same.
That's why, motherfucker. Ain't nobody like your ass. You don't talk to nobody. You ain't do nothing. You know what's crazy? If you want to talk about ratios, out of the 300 friends that I have in the content creation scene, I've lost 2, maybe 2.
You most definitely do not have 300 friends in the content creation space, Tectone. And if you think that, you are way more mentally ill than my seasonal depression ever is or was. If you think you have 300 friends, you're gonna have 260 people backstabbing you eventually. At the very least, it's probably higher than that.
Not Mr. Pokey, another guy.
Another guy.
You had one friend in this space, me, and you lost that one. Bro, you went 1 for 1. You lost 100%. Ain't nobody else fuck with your ass, little pop. Because we're going to go in, man. Because you want to do this shit where you want to come at me. You want to know why you're mad at me, Mtashed? Because I'm the better version of you. And that's what drives you insane. You want to know why? Because your ass fell the fuck off. Yep, because you couldn't hack it, brother. My channel, 13 million views this month. Yours couldn't even break 1 mil. Brother, top 250 streamer in the world on Twitch. Lil Pop, you couldn't even break 20K. All right, bro, you average 90 viewers. I average 7 fucking thousand. And here's the other thing. You want to sit there and you want to talk about, yeah, well, it's different because I have a family and I'm happy. If you're so happy in your life, why the fuck you fucking around with a random bald guy on the internet? Why?
So this is an often used tactic by people that are doing well, that are very successful. They're like, why are you spending time worrying about me when you could be worrying about being successful? Tectone, this is a personal message to you. If not for COVID, if not for the world basically deconstructing and progressiveness being essentially eradicated by the right-wing party in this country, you would not be nearly as successful as you are. You, Asmongold, Andrew Tate, Joe Rogan, Donald Trump, all the right-wingers in his administration, for the most part, are successful because there is like this current trend that exists for pushback, for people to be overly outspoken when it becomes when it deals with things that are considered to be a little bit sensitive or a little bit feminine, or if they're apparently T words in respect to Frogan. That's why you're successful. You're successful because you propagate anime girls that are not too dissimilar to what Jeffrey Epstein was propagating when he was successful, making billions of dollars. Essentially, little girls, that were doing adult things. Gacha is got little girls that dress up like adults. It's not that dissimilar. Both of you are successful. And in my opinion, that is not an accomplishment. But if you think it is, fine. And that's not me saying that Mtashed is, someone I respect. I don't respect him. He could have a family and be a great father and a great husband. I have no idea if he is those things. I hope he is. And I hope Tectone is a great friend in real life. And hopefully he has great relationships and it's all very healthy. Their online personalities? No, fuck that.
You were sitting there waiting for that moment. Oh, dude, just wait. When he loses another friend, then I'll say, you see, guys, I was right all along. Brother, go focus on your kids. Sit the fuck down.
He's often used this on my content too. He's like, spend time with your family, spend time with your kids, spend time with your friends, get a life, get a job. And here's the reason. And this is why I have such an issue with Tectone. He knows, Trump knows, all these people that are on this fringe, talking points. They know eventually that, given enough time, democracy wins out. Sensibilities eventually win out. And that this negativity that is being conveyed, portrayed, will get old. And so you don't want people, even though they may be hypocrites, to talk, to criticize. You want everyone to stay silent. This is a very similar trend to what we were dealing with in this country with allegations of sexual assault. Have you ever heard about the term the silent generation? A generation who reportedly were victimized more than any other generation. But culturally, because of just misogyny and the patriarchy, they never spoke out about being abused. And that persisted for a very long time. So the longer we stay silent, the higher chances that you can continue to do what you've been doing. The more we speak out, the more we continue to gain traction. And yes, there is some negative to this. Ultimately, because there can be another revolution, another pushback, in terms of trans rights and stuff like that. That obviously did not go well because it got really, really fringy. It got really perverse, and it started to involve children to the extent that people had a problem with it. This is part one of a multi-part series because I'm one of the best people at reacting to videos and not getting a copyright strike. 6 minutes in, 20-minute, 25-minute video. Listen, I have the gift of gab. See you in part two. Bye for now.